Like, all right, Hijab and Wholeness. We are live, as the indicator seems to indicate in the top corner up there.
Great day, and welcome to today's episode of The
Health
Health
The health
Class
class
You
class
you
we
Never
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 Had.
had.
Today we are talking about today we are talking about boosting your immune system. Now, I do want a disclaimer out there that we are not medical doctors, that we are indigenous health practitioners, and we're giving you holistic methods to dealing with your health issues as we have learned along the way some things that we could share with you. Now, what we're going to start with today is Master Chef, and he's going to share with you his take on building your immune system.
All right, so let's just start with this. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you're not afraid to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. All right. So, what exactly does being happy or happiness have to do with the boosting your immune system? Well, here's what PubMed.com has to say on the situation. PubMed.com, which is basically a free search database of life sciences that is maintained by the United States National Library of Medicine at the National Institutes of Health. And in an article entitled The Immune System and Happiness, which was published in October 2006 by Yoram Barak, it states, emotions are intimately involved in the initiation and process or progression of cancer, HIV, cardiovascular disease, and autoimmune disorders. Furthermore, the specific physiological responses induced by pleasant stimuli were recently investigated, with the immune and endocrine systems being monitored when pleasant stimuli such as odors and emotional pictures were presented to the subjects. In other words, the results revealed that an increase in secretory immunoglobulin A were induced by pleasant emotions. In other words, being happy tends to promote the secretion of immunoglobulin A, which is an antibody blood protein that's part of our immune system that our body makes to help fight off sickness. Yeah, can't be a lot said there. In other words, again, happiness can influence our immune system. Also, in Psychology Today, which is a general interest psychology magazine founded in 1967 by psychologist Nicholas Charney. And the reason why he founded this was a very good reason, as he states, to answer the question, what is psychology in terms that a layperson could understand? And they shed a little more light on the situation in an article by Dr. Mark Holder entitled, "What He's Known as the Happiness Doctor." One moment, what's that?
Speak up.
Oh, okay, speak up. Okay. So again, in Psychology Today, there's an article written by Dr. Mark Holder, who is known as the Happiness Doctor, who shares with us an article entitled "Happiness and Your Immune System." And this was posted in June of 2017. And in that study, there were 350 adults who volunteered, volunteers, to be exposed to the cold virus. And their positive emotions, such as feeling energetic and pleased, were measured for 2 weeks before exposure to the virus. And those who reported the most positive emotions were less likely to develop the cold, as well as the study of dental students who told a similar story. And these dental students were reported their mood 3 times a week for almost 2 months. They also had their saliva collected immune system's effectiveness could be assessed. And when the students' immune systems were challenged by a pill containing a protein from rabbit blood, the response to this foreign material depended on the students' moods. The response of the immune system was weaker on the days marked by negative moods and higher on the days marked by positive moods. So I just want to start out by giving a little scientific evidence on how being happy can influence our immune system. And most of us have experienced that when we're happy, we feel good. When we're not happy, we feel no vibration. And moving forward, not only that, being as though this type of immune system booster is metaphysical in nature, being that happiness is not a thing that we can taste, touch, smell, hear, or see, right? It has the potential of also protecting or giving one immunity from metaphysical diseases, as well as physical diseases. From the spectrum of say, harmful bacteria and viruses to things like so-called negative people, thought forms, Wi-Fi, 5G, and even so-called demons. That's my personal experience and this in happiness to the extreme. So, exactly how then may this be obtained? Well, first of all, the question is can we experience happiness 24/7, 365? And for my person who embraced the philosophy that anything is possible, and of course it is possible to do that. And my person also calls this type of happiness joy. The type of happiness that the world didn't give, and the type of happiness that the world can't take away, which once again means that this happiness does not come from any experiences, situations, or circumstances, which means that there are no experiences, situations, or circumstances that can take this type of happiness away or joy away. And so the question becomes, how then may this joy be obtained and sustained? Well, from my personal experience, it may be obtained and sustained by the process of discovering or remembering one's life's purpose. And understandably, there are probably a lot of us who may be more in the process of remembering or discovering our life's purpose than actually living our life's purpose or actualizing our life's purpose. And with that, just want to add a couple of phrases, suggest a couple of phrases that we're mostly familiar with that can shed a little light on how we may be in that process if one is task of living one's or actualizing one's life purpose. And those phrases are follow your heart and do what makes you happy. Right? What makes you happy, right? And again, which tends to put one on the of discovering and remembering one's purpose. In other words, the more we make choices with insight that the choice will bring happiness in the long run and not just for now, for immediate gratification, then those choices may ultimately lead us to our purpose. As well as there's another added benefit of one actively discovering or remembering one's life's purpose. And that is a closer relationship with our Creator. And that in and of itself is worthy of another topic. So to close this thing out here before going too deep, or the rabbit hole, as they say, my purpose in with a simple reminder that the active process of discovering, remembering, and living one's purpose may provide the highest form of happiness as well as the closest connection with our Creator. And with that, and of course, my personal belief, if there's any assistance that may be needed on one's journey of living or actualizing one's life purpose, feel free to reach out to your comedic members or your priest at your service. Give thanks for allowing my person to share.
So just taking in everything as you said as a layperson, ideally, what I want to be able to do is be happy, and happiness has to come from within myself. But I discovered that happy if I reach my journey of connecting with my Creator and fulfilling my life purpose. Basically, pulling a lot just from what you said. That's kind of the journey that I want to be connected to my Creator and fulfilling my life purpose.
Cool. We should talk more about this intimately after the show. See, that's how it all began. Walk this journey together.
All right, Dr. Yu, we want to hear from you in boosting our immune system.
Peace and blessings, family. I hope everyone is well today. And we apologize. I just got notification that some of the communication is a little distorted. I hope that it's not too bad on my side. But we'll proceed. We'll do the best we can. If you do have any questions, any commentary, please feel free to leave comments, on this post. And we'll be sure to do our best to address it while we're here on air, or we'll go back after the fact if you can't hear us too clearly, and we'll make sure that we address it on the comments with you. So on this topic of boosting the immune system, this is a very important topic, needless to say, at this point in time, especially because we have so many different, of course, COVID-19 is a very, very pervasive topic right now. The vaccination is a very pervasive topic right now, along with the regular things that we tend to experience around this time of year, which is like colds, flu, other respiratory conditions and things of that nature, which is all revolving around the immune system and the immune response. Even things such as asthma may tend to exacerbate around this time of year as well. So the immune system plays a role in that also. So in talking about the immune system from a physical standpoint, one of the important things to realize is that the health of our digestive systems or our gut is very, very important in helping to moderate and boost immune system health. If we are constantly eating things, consuming things that compromise our digestive system, the two major things that are important in maintaining general health from a physical standpoint is making sure that there's not a lot of waste accumulation in the body, and also making sure that the body is getting the proper nutrition. So in that process of moderating waste accumulation in the body, the digestive system is a very, very important thing, because we have to, anything we consume, we have to be able to eliminate what we don't need. And those things that we don't need, if they are not eliminated, they can accumulate inside of the body, and they can cause inflammation, which damages our healthy cells and leaves our cells more vulnerable to attacks from anything outside. So I saw that someone posed the question, why do we have an immune system? And our immune cells are designed to protect us against what our body naturally perceives as a threat to our healthy cells, to our lives, basically. If we are exposed to so many different types of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, parasites. These are things, fungi, yeast, mold, etc. These are things that we naturally are exposed to on a regular basis because these are all parts of our environment and they exist within the human body as well. The thing is that you don't want anything to get too far out of balance. If one thing starts to, because they're all living organisms, if they start to overpopulate inside of the body, then it causes havoc inside of the body and leads to different adverse health conditions, which are too many to name, but the role of the immune cells, we say immune system, but they're really different immune cells, which are also called the white blood cells. The role that they play inside of the body is to keep these abnormal cells, unhealthy cells, from overpopulating, and they also keep those other types of foreign, quote unquote, foreign microorganisms, bacteria, yeast, and other types of fungi, viruses, etc., from overpopulating and taking over the body and compromising the healthy cells. So that way we can live, we can thrive at our optimal. So I hope that answers the question well. And again, in that process, those type of microorganisms feed on a lot of waste byproducts inside of the body, a lot of acid excess, and things of that nature that are accumulated inside of the body. Those type of microorganisms, yeast and bacteria, etc., an overabundance of sugar, alcohol, those type of things like that, allow those microorganisms that are considered harmful to grow, to reproduce inside of the body. So the more that we're able to eliminate those type of things from one entering our bodies in the first place, or at least moderate it, keep it down to a minimal, and the more that we're able to give our bodies the things that it naturally needs to support our overall health and well-being, the better our immune systems are going to be. So, of course, with that, it starts with eating foods that will be easier for us to digest and to process. If we're eating a lot of heavy foods, and especially late at night, it's a bad habit because that's when your digestive system tends to slow down. Your elimination tends to slow down. This is the time for the body to really process, and in the morning, to move things out. So if that's not happening because you're overtaxing, overwhelming the body, with a lot of heavy foods that are like fried, greasy, very heavy in fat, very heavy in protein, and very starchy. Those are the hardest things for the body to digest. So if you are having a lot of that at late at night when the body is trying to basically deal with what's already present, then that lowers the immune system capability because it hampers the body's ability to eliminate the waste buildup inside of the body. The digestive system is also important for absorbing nutrients. So if there's a lot of waste buildup inside of the body and the body is constantly trying to move out waste, then it hampers or tampers with the body's natural ability to be able to process and to absorb the proper nutrition. So those things that we need, a lot of people talk about vitamin C, zinc, in this time frame. Those are very, very important nutrients, not the only nutrients, but very important nutrients in that immunological process and helping to strengthen our overall resistance to pathogens or disease causing microorganisms. But we can take those things in, we can eat it, we can take it in supplemental form. But if our intestinal tract, where the bulk of the absorption is happening, is not able to absorb those things properly, how much of that are we actually getting? So that's the first thing, very important to make sure that we are eating things that are easier for our body to digest, which are typically whole plant-based foods that are not very, very starchy and not very heavy in a lot of fat, you know. And if you're eating fattier foods and things like that, it's better to do it when the sun is at its highest, usually around midday, after early afternoon time frame. That's when the digestive system is at its most active and is able to process and handle those things better. But obviously we want to stay away from foods that are considered to be junk foods. All of your snack chips and those honey buns and cakes and high sugar foods where a lot of sugar is added to it, cookies and things of that nature. All of those things suppress the immune system. And we also want to make sure that we're not doing a lot of fried foods and things like that. So aside from making sure that we're eating things that are easier for the body to digest, we want to make sure that our bowels are moving regularly. If you are eating 3 times a day and you're only having one bowel movement a day or one bowel movement every other day, then obviously what is happening to the other meals? It's taking a very, very long time to get outside of our bodies, the waste byproducts that are created from everything that we eat. So that leaves room for these things to accumulate. So you want to ideally be moving your bowels at least 2 to 3 times daily if you're eating 2 to 3 times daily, at least. You also want to make sure that you're giving your body what it needs to support that process. So 2 of the major things is water, making sure that you're drinking the proper amount of water. You also want to make sure that you're getting fiber, which again is coming primarily from your whole plant-based foods. And when I say whole plant-based, if we're eating, let's say, rice, we don't want to do white rice because white rice has everything that's outside of the part that we see. It has it stripped, and that's where the bulk of the nutrients are at. So we want to make sure that we're doing more like brown rice. If we're doing wheat, if for those who can tolerate wheat, we want to make sure we're doing whole wheat instead of like white flour products and things like that, which has everything stripped from it from a nutritional standpoint. So I mentioned vitamin C, I mentioned zinc, as immune system boosting nutrients. We also want to talk about vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E. These are called the fat soluble vitamins. These come from primarily eating your vegetables. Eating fresh vegetables in particular are going to give you more of these particular nutrients. You want to make sure that you're eating a variety of different foods from a plant-based or whole plant-based perspective, whether or not you eat meat or animal flesh, as we call it, in other foods. You still want to make sure that you're getting a wide variety of whole plant-based foods because this is where the bulk of your nutrition and antioxidants, things that help to protect the cells from damage, is going to come from. So you want to make sure that you're eating a variety, your fruits, your vegetable, your green leafy vegetables. You have root vegetables, you have things like mushrooms for those who can tolerate that, and whole grains instead of refined grains, those type of things like that. And even sea vegetables, are good to incorporate. So if you are eating a variety of those different things daily or practically daily, that's going to help to offset a lot of the negative things that you do if you're doing that as the majority of what you do throughout the day. So even if you're eating a ham sandwich daily, which we don't promote, but even if you're doing that, but you have 3 platefuls of vegetables or fresh salads, lightly steamed greens, broccoli, cabbage, sweet potatoes, carrots, so on and so forth. Those things will even help to offset some of those negative habits that you may have. So they help to strengthen the immune system in that way. So to close out the immediate of what I'd like to share, I want to mention a few different herbs that we use, generally speaking, to help to strengthen the immune system. And these herbs are called immune tonic herbs. That's what we refer to them as in the herbal medicine realm. Immune tonic herbs, which help to strengthen the immune system when you take them on a regular basis. So, herb number one that I want to mention is called astragalus, astragalus root. The root of astragalus is used extensively in traditional Asian medicine or traditional Chinese medicine, especially. And this is something that you can utilize on a regular basis, whether it's in the herbal tea form where you boil it and you drink the tea that's made from boiling the actual root. It's available in health stores and as an extract, or you may find it in a powdered form or a capsule form. So any way you choose to use it is up to you. It's just a matter of preference. But this is something that is a good preventative, so to speak, where you can take it on a day-to-day basis, and it helps to just kind of keep your immune cells on alert. Another very good one that you may or may not have heard of is called black seed. That's the common name for it, is black seed. Black seed is probably most commonly sold in stores as the oil, and that's the most potent form. Is the cold pressed oil from the black seeds. And the black seed is very, very high in antioxidants. It helps, with protecting the cells from invaders, and it also is a stimulant, and it's also very good for the brain, especially the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, those glands that are controlled by the brain, that have a very, very strong impact on the immune response. So black seed oil, there's a saying in the Quran that black seed is the cure for everything except death. We don't use the term cure, but can it be very impactful in a positive way? Absolutely. And this is one thing that many people use to even keep from getting colds and flu and things like that during this season. Another one that you may have heard of is elderberries. Elderberries and even the flower, elderflower, both of those used separately or combined can be very impactful. And elderberry is very well known for its effect against viruses, many different types of viruses, not just one, but a wide array of different types of viruses. It helps to keep the immune cells on alert, and helps the immune cells to better recognize and destroy cells that might have been infected by viruses. Very, very good thing to keep around. There was actually a shortage on elderberries earlier last year when COVID-19 kind of really, really hit the mainstream, and a lot of people were using elderberries, both in a preventive and in a therapeutic manner, and successfully, to help them with getting over that condition or preventing themselves from contracting that condition, or from even the symptoms of it being too harsh or too pronounced. So the elderberries is another very good traditional remedy. There are many, many different herbs that are very useful for helping to stimulate immune response. I'll mention one more, and then I'll go into a couple essential oils, and then we'll take some comments and questions from our audience if we have any, or Sister Precious. So the last one that I'll mention on the herbal side that you can use, and it's very good to use even in foods, is called rose hips, which is the fruit from the rose plant. Very good, very high in vitamin C. This is something that is commonly used not only as a wintertime tonic, but also even in supplements that are vitamin C supplements. Sometimes you may see rose hips added, and it helps to absorb the vitamin C because it has also what's known as bioflavonoids, which are important for better absorption of vitamin C. So rose hips is definitely a great immune system booster as well. So a few essential oils. Essential oils can be used. It can be diffused throughout your home. If you have a diffuser, they sell diffusers in health stores, sometimes even department stores. You may be able to find them in now. Or you can order them from online. If you don't have that, if you don't have the money for that, the old school way, you can boil a pot of water and you can take the essential oil. They come in very small bottles. You can take a few drops and put it in boiling water and let that kind of fumigate throughout your home or throughout your living space or your environment. You can also take them and you can mix a few drops. And when I say a few, like only about 3 or so, and about a teaspoon of oil. And you can take that and rub it and use it as a body oil over your chest, over your respiratory areas, your breathing passages, your temples, the bottom of your feet. When these things have shown good ability to help to strengthen the immune system. So a few of them that I'll mention out of many, one is tea tree oil. Tea tree oil, tea as in Lipton tea or U360 tea, any kind of herbal tea, TEA, tree, like the plant that grows outside, tea tree oil. Very commonly used for fungal infections and things like that, especially how people sometimes get funguses on the toenails. Many people use that, put it in water and use it as a soak, or rub it directly on the infected area. But tea tree is a very good immune system stimulating herb. Another one is eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is commonly used for respiratory ailments, and the eucalyptus oil can be used in the same way. And the last one I'll mention today is pine. Pine needles. The essential oil from pine needles is very good. Again, similar to the black seed, it helps to stimulate the pineal and the pituitary glands, and strengthen the immune system from that standpoint. It's very uplifting to the overall energy and spirit. Helps to expel like mucus and things like that from the body. Very, very powerful plant that, in my opinion, goes underutilized for the amount of benefits that it has. Excuse me. But pine, eucalyptus, tea tree essential oils. So many, many different things that you can utilize. The last thing that I'll mention, period, which is very, very important. Make sure that you are getting the proper rest. That cannot be stated enough. Rest is such an undervalued thing until we realize the effects of not having it. And last year, I actually got sick myself because I took about 3 nights and didn't have good, proper rest. Maybe getting about 4 or 5 hours of sleep that was a little interrupted, going to sleep too late at night, waking up too early in the morning, waking up abruptly, not being in a good state, just as Master Rashep mentioned. That affects your mood. And if your mood is not happy, then it lowers your immune system function as well. So that happened for 3 consecutive nights. 4th day, I got sick, and luckily I know what I know. I was able to recover from it. But, it just goes to show, and I'm a person who takes relatively good care of myself. But, it just goes to show that it can happen to anyone. Make sure that you're getting the proper rest at night. That's the time where the body is repairing itself and absorbing those nutrients, and many of those nutrients, and helping out your nervous system, reducing your stress levels, and bringing out a lot of those chemicals that boost the immune system. So that's all I have to say for the moment. I'm going to turn it back over to Sister Precious and Master Rashep. Peace.
Your share to us. Are they safe for young children? Is there like an age cutoff where you might say you might not want to give this to a kid?
For the herbs I mentioned, for the black seed, for the astragalus, for the rose hips, for the elderberries, they are safe for young children as well. You know, usually with administering herbs to young children, it's just a matter of how much you give them at a time, and that can depend on age and weight. You know, if you're talking about non-infants, because we're not going to talk about infants right now, you know, but if we're talking about children, let's say 4 years old and up, you know, let's say about 4 to 12. A good gauge is kind of like about half to a third of what you would give an adult. You know, so if you're making an herbal tea, for example, and you use the standard is about a teaspoon of whatever herbal material to a cup of boiling water, you might want to use about a half teaspoon for the younger children, you know, half to a third. But typically, you know, though, even at a teaspoon dosage or regular dosage, it tends to be safe for regular children of that age. Younger children, you have to be a little bit more cautious with. But yeah, those are pretty safe herbs as well. Essential oils, make sure that you dilute them, but you can use those essential oils for children also. And essential oils, those again, we're not recommending them for ad or you know, we're not telling you to use those from an internal standpoint. This is from an external standpoint. So you take it, you know, you rub it on the body, you mist it, you know, you can again boil water and drop some in the boiling water, diffuse it throughout your atmosphere, that type of thing. Not to necessarily take it and put it in something and drink it or consume it.
Why do we have the immune system? Now, I know the immune system is like everything nature has its own way of healing, restoring, repairing, to his question.
Yeah, well, from a metaphysical perspective and like for the most part shield.
Do you have anything you would like to add to that, Doctor? You?
I'd addressed that question a little earlier. Just basically saying that the immune system helps to defend us from outside pathogens, outside and inside pathogens as well. You know, unhealthy cells, you know, even cancer cells and things of that nature are considered threats to the body, and the immune system helps to regulate that on a regular basis. For elderflower tincture, should I be concerned about it having alcohol or not? Is a question. Generally speaking, no. Alcohol is for tinctures. Alcohol is like the standard medium, you know, on how tinctures are made. So most tinctures that you come across are going to be made with some
Your
type of
answers and
drinking
your questions
alcohol.
will be provided.
Yeah, so generally speaking, no, alcohol is not a big concern in that case. And usually with tinctures, you're going to take that diluted in a little bit of water as well. So that helps to offset whatever um, harmful effect may be attributed to the alcohol, but it's very small amount of alcohol that you would be consuming with that, generally speaking. So no, it's not a big concern.
Mm. Thymus tapping stimulus. Wow. Just reading the comment about Sister Shelby, and that's pretty impressive. Congratulations. The vagus nerve rebounding. Pretty serious tapping there. Yeah, tapping is excellent. Excellent. Fantastic.
All right, family. Well, if there are no more questions, we're going to take this time and close out. I see Master Bishop and Sister Precious Porter are having a little bit of technical difficulties on their side. But we want to thank you for tuning in to the health class you never had. I'm glad to be back with me and Ket Nunef are fresh back from Mali this week, or last week technically. So this is our first episode back. Master Bishop and Sister Precious Porter and Sister Clarice Manning have been holding this show down the last couple weeks. So we want to send our love and appreciation. And this technical thing is not our strong points all the time, but we hope that we strive to continue to bring you information and things that are of value to your overall health and well-being, for your family, for our communities as a whole. So please continue to join us. We will be here Mondays. We hopefully will work out some of these kinks, getting back into the flow of these things. So continue to join us Mondays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be back with our next episode of the health class you never had. You can join us on YouTube, on Facebook, on our page, Collective Health Initiative, spelled as is. Again, Collective Health Initiative. And we are the Collective Health Initiative, aka the CHI. Peace and blessings. Enjoy your week, and we look forward to the next